This is it. I was just talking about it. Total War Warhammer 3 gameplay trailer. Oddly enough, they released the trailer just before my stream actually. Yes, James, welcome to the channel again. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I was just talking about it, that CA was going to actually release this most probably on a Friday, and they just released this on like just 12 minutes ago. I totally missed this.
Sieging a settlement should not be an easy undertaking. Total War Warhammer 3 has reworked how sieges work. With new ways of attacking as well as defending, every inch taken will cost dearly.
The
Settlement
siege
maps
rework.
are now larger, and we've introduced more variety of maps than in previous games. With the fall of the Turtle Gate, Miao Ying moves her army from the Snake Gate to Wei Jin in an attempt to bolster the city's defenses and drive Tzeentch out of Cathay.
Okay, those scenes were definitely not in-engine. I mean, at least from what I can see, right? There's definitely some gameplay parts here. It's not all in-engine. Let me just scroll back to the bottom here. I can't believe this. I've got to see this. Wait, what does it say there? This footage was captured from a pre-release version of the game. Yeah, so this is in-game. This is gameplay. Mixed a little bit with in-engine, I believe. So this is not the latest build, okay.
Sieging a settlement should not be an easy undertaking. Total War Warhammer 3 has
Oh, friendly fire on the gates there.
reworked how sieges work. With new ways of attacking as well as defending, every inch taken
Frame rate dropped there. I don't know whether it was just me or it was
will
really the
cost
video.
dearly. Settlement maps are now larger, and we've introduced more variety of maps than in previous games. With the fall of the Turtle Gate, Miao Ying moves her army from the Snake Gate to Wei Jin in an attempt to bolster the city's defenses and drive Tzeentch out of Cathay. Wei Jin, capital of the Celestial Dragon Empire, is a three-walled fortress and a testament to Cathay's architectural brilliance.
So the three-walled siege is really something that they're bringing back from Total War 3 Kingdoms, right? Total War 3 Kingdoms, I believe Shogun 2 as well had this massive fortress with multiple walls. I think Shogun 2 had like two, if I'm not mistaken, I think it had two walls. And I think in Three Kingdoms, which is a game that I did not play much, I got to admit it. Never really found it was my kind of thing. I believe Three Kingdoms had like multiple walls. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. Probably need to double check that.
When defending, walls are the first defense against an attacking army, but by no means the last. We now have the option to turn the streets into a bloody maze.
Alright, so street battle is something that, in Warhammer 2, I felt that street battles were completely removed to some extent. Basically, I would say most, if not all, but most of the siege battles in Warhammer 2 sort of was won or lost at the walls, right? At the walls, just right there. There's really not much of street battle. If you actually played Rome 2, which I actually have been playing Total War Rome 2 a little bit, there is a lot of use of like little parts in your city. I mean, as a defender, you've got to use whatever sort of advantage that you have, and then sort of like funneling your entire enemy troops into one small street and peppering them with arrows is like a huge advantage for the defending army. I felt like that was something I missed in Warhammer 2. I might be wrong. So far, most of the Warhammer 2 sieges have been just so. It's like spectacle, the wall battles and stuff like that, siege engines and stuff. But you don't have those scrappy sort of war in the cities itself. So I can see that in Warhammer 3, they seem to be going back to almost a Rome 2 and Three Kingdom kind of thing. I mean, makes sense because Grand Cathay is basically China, right?
Using supplies, we can build towers, barricades, and traps. Prepare and plan your defense, but never rest easy. The first object for any attacker to overcome is the wall-mounted towers. Unfortunately for us Sinch invaders, towers now have wider capture areas, so defenders don't need to be as close for them to be active. This means we can spread our docked units across a larger area and pepper the invaders with arrows, bullets, and artillery on their approach. The might.
So basically the towers have a larger capture zone. That would be... Wait, what does that mean? Wouldn't that be like a bad thing?
Prepare and plan your defense, but never rest easy. The first object for any attacker to overcome is the wall-mounted towers. Unfortunately for us Sinch invaders, towers now have wider capture areas, so defenders don't need to be as close for them to be active. This means we can spread our docked units across a larger area and pepper the invaders with arrows, bullets, and artillery on their...
Alright, so basically what that means is that you don't need to actually activate a tower, you don't need to have a unit really close by that tower. You can have distance there, so you could use a lot of the towers and spread out your units a little bit. I understand that. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Their approach. The might of Grand Cathay isn't enough to keep Sinch from breaching the walls. The walls will soon fall. It's time to fall back.
You know, it looks kind of funny looking at those chaos demons walking up the stairs like that. That looks kind of funny.
Cathay isn't enough to keep Sinch from...
Oh, look, they're throwing up the ladders.
Will soon fall. It's time to fall back to our secondary positions within...
I mean, who says chaos demons can't use ladders, right?
...the city. Our defense now lies with our barricades, traps, and towers. We'll need a new currency introduced in Warhammer III, supplies. We'll start the defense with a base number of supplies and can gain more during combat by holding...
Supplies. Oh, okay. This is something interesting, right? So there is a new type of resource that is on the battle map called supplies. I guess using supplies you can... This is similar to the survival battles they're talking about, where you can actually build like fortifications and stuff like that.
We'll need a new currency introduced in Warhammer III.
Yeah, supplies.
We'll start the defense with a base number of supplies and can gain more during combat by holding locations around the settlement. Minor supply, key building, and victory points. These key points have pre-designated build locations for construction.
Oh, that's cool.
Barricade or tower is constructed.
Yes. Okay, this is obviously they took this from the... This is cool, right? They took this from the survival battles where you could actually barricade particular roads. Really good idea. Really good idea. Really powerful thing for the defenders, because now if you hold those buildings, I don't know though, when do you get supplies? Do you get it over time in the battle, or do you get a set amount before it? Because it would seem to me that building these things during deployment would make more sense than while the battle rages on, but I'm not sure. I think this is a ticking score thing, these supplies. I'm guessing this. They probably would have a blog post about how these mechanics work in more detail.
It can be dismantled for a refund of supplies and rebuilt elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
But keep in mind, construction and dismantling is a lengthy process. Barricades and towers are destroyed if their health reaches 0, or if the supply, building, or victory point they're attached to is taken by the attackers. If this occurs, your supplies are not refunded. It's worth noting that whilst attackers can capture points, they cannot build barricades or towers. Rather than a messy brawl in the streets, Warhammer 3's sieges are about defenders controlling the flow of battle, using a settlement's architecture to plan and execute layered fallbacks and hardpoints, where they can chip away at an attacker's forces. To this end, settlements have become multi-leveled with bridges and upper tiers that cross over streets, giving ranged units more opportunities to shine. A good many of these bridges and overlooks are dockable like the primary walls, giving our soldiers...
I mean, I mean, this is all cool and stuff if you're the defending army, but if you're an attacking army, I feel like this is going to make the sieges a real chore. Like for an attacking army, why would you like that though? Like, what is fun about attacking this? I mean, siege is not an easy problem or it's an easy part of the game to actually solve. I think Creative Assembly has given up on naval battles like that. Like I think almost like nobody actually cares. How many percent of the Total War player base actually cares about naval battles anymore? Like we were crazy about it during Napoleon Total War, but then I mean an Empire Total War, we know how that went. So we've pretty much given up on naval. But siege, like having like multi-tiered stuff, like multi-tiered walls we've done in, I believe, in Medieval to Shogun to Three Kingdom, and now this, but having bridges and stuff, like, oh my god, then wouldn't it be like a puzzle to sort of navigate the city? Wouldn't this actually make it a real chore for the attacking army, but amazing for the defending army, you know? Amazing for the defending army. I don't know, but hopefully they haven't made it so much of a chore. I still want to fight siege battles as the attacker.
Has all the buffs and benefits of any other docked unit. In sieges, both the attacker and defender's role are tactically more challenging and more rewarding. Settlements in Warhammer 3 have been designed with more open areas and strategic avenues to hide troops in. The avenues are the perfect ambush spot, making flanking and devastating charges a more viable tactical strategy. In overview, Warhammer 3's sieges offer a diverse array of fresh settlements to overcome and protect. They allow defenders to prepare for a new kind of battle occurring after the attackers have taken the primary walls. They add a new currency to manage and spend on fortifying defensive fallback positions with barricades, towers, and traps which are used to further repel invaders. They allow for a multi-layered experience where units can be docked to overlooks and walls within the settlement itself, and encourages real-time reorganizing of defenses to adapt to an ever-changing battle.
Alright, so everything that the narrator is talking about the siege rework sounds amazing. I mean, this was what they wanted to do with Shogun 2 and Three Kingdoms even, where you're talking about the fallback line. You have one level of walls and a second level of walls, so you sort of like, once you're surrounded, you've got the first walls fallen down, you can retreat back to the second one. I felt that this was what they actually aimed to do in those games, in those other Total War games, but somehow or other, I think us Total War players just didn't take the bite for it. We didn't do it. I mean, we just fought the battle at the first wall, and the siege battles was won at the walls, and that's about it. I think only in Rome, and even Rome 2 and Rome actually had street battles more than the other Total War games. I mean, Shogun 2 was very much a very castle fortress focused sort of siege battle game. I believe that is also the case for Total War Three Kingdoms also. Not much in terms of streets, but just multiple layers of defenses. So this thing where they're allowing you to actually build defensive fortifications using a new supply point mechanic. It's not a supply point. Yeah, it is supply points, right? And sort of like, so you actually have fallback lines that you fall back to. Like, okay, the first walls, we've lost it. The chaos have overrun us there. So let's move our defenses to the second tier. So as we actually retreat back, or we have forces we keep at the back line there, I mean, we force the attackers to come to us, which means that they become tired, they become less effective, and we can pepper them with as much range units as we can. So I think it as I mentioned just now, I feel like all these actually make sieges a much more drawn out affair. And I don't know who actually likes that sort of a battle. Like, if the best thing about a Total War game is battles on the battlefield, right? Whether it's in the forest, hill, or flat, whatever. Two armies going against each other, there's a timer, that's it. Siege battles, you're on walls, there's a city, there's a control point, victory point, and like things just drag on, right? I think in a way, yes, it is realistic. It is realistic that sieges take time, right? But it's a drag. And I feel like if you had the option of like, okay, am I going to sit here for 45 minutes and actually do this battle, or if I could just hit the auto resolve, I'd always go for the auto resolve actually. But to be fair, I mean we've not had hands-on with this game obviously, so I can't really speak how the siege is going to be, other than seeing what they're telling us and what they're showing us. It seems interesting. They're taking that multi-tiered layered defense thing to, I guess, the next level. So yeah, we shall see how things go.
All of these features, coupled with dynamic new settlement designs, make for challenging and satisfying sieges packed with highs, lows, and phenomenal visuals. Wei Jin has fallen, but the forces of Tzeentch will struggle to reach the celestial city above. The Dragon Emperor is safe for now. Even so, his daughter has barely managed to escape with her life. To Nangao she travels.
All right, so that is basically the Siege Rework trailer, guys. Just hot off the press, released just a couple of minutes ago, and we finally managed to get to see the first glimpse of gameplay for Total War Warhammer 3. It is a pre-release version. It's an early version, as the trailer actually mentioned. Let me just put some music here. So I do like what I see. I've been making sieges much more more elaborate, more detailed, more multiple stages of it. That's all great, fine and dandy, amazing. I just don't like them making siege a chore, making it much more lengthier, much more longer, and something that players would want to actually avoid later on. If they can actually make sieges fun, right? Like it's fun game, slightly maybe different from battles. Sieges are never going to be the same as battles. That's something that I accept. But they're making the siege interesting in the sense that you can set defensive fortifications and basically funnel the enemy the way you want it, right? I think it would make sieges interesting. Maybe I don't know whether it's fun for the attacker though. That's my only concern. As the attacking force, it will be too much of a chore to actually face sieges and stuff. But if you're the defending army, look, sieges look amazing. Sieges are great. I love it. So yeah, that's my thoughts of it. I'm going to be putting this video out on YouTube and Facebook as well. So tell me what you think about it. What you think about the Siege Rework. Are you excited for this? Like, do you think that this is it? This is the next level Siege that we've been waiting for, right? This is it. And in terms of the visual and stuff, I can see that it's quite early. Like there's a bit of roughness there in that trailer. But yeah, finally we managed to see gameplay. I mean, so-called gameplay trailer for Warhammer 3. And I hope you actually liked what you see. I mean, it's not for me to actually hope that you like what you see, but tell me what you think about your views on this trailer, and I will see you guys in the next video.